I got into the office this morning about like 9 o'clock, and I got a phone call, and I couldn't believe it. She was just a good person. She was more than a social worker. She was more than a mother. She was more than a wife. She was more than a friend. She was just a big part of my family's life. And that just doesn't go away. It just doesn't make sense. It still doesn't seem real.
This is the sad story of 49-year-old married woman Robin Simpson, who was brutally murdered by her 58-year-old husband, Michael Simpson, Jr. When Robin called 911, she told the operators that her husband was threatening her and her daughter by holding a knife. After that, Michael Simpson, Jr. gave his wife more than 100 knife stab wounds as his daughter watched her mother pass away. Before we begin this video, we would like to express our deepest sympathies to the family and friends who were severely affected by this horrible crime. We would also like to send condolences to Robin's family and friends. Robin Simpson was born on November 20th, 1973. She was from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. With a radiant, kind grin, Robin was the most adorable person. She worked as a social worker, was a devoted mother, and was a proud member of Delta sorority. Her friends call her the most real, understanding, and giving person they've ever met. Additionally, Robin was married to Michael Simpson, Jr. The two had been together for 12 years and had a daughter named Essence, who was 8 years old. Michael had recently begun taking anxiety medications, ranging from 1 to several doses. After telling her sister what she was going through, Robin's sister informed her that she had to leave Michael because he would pull her down. In addition, Michael had stopped paying bills, lending a hand around the house, and acting as both her spouse and father. He didn't exhibit any violent tendencies, but the medications changed him. After he wakes up, Michael simply consumes and drinks his medicine. He also disclosed to Robin that he was experiencing anxiety, delusions, and auditory hallucinations. After seeing a few psychologists, Michael was given medication by each one of them in private. He was seeing many doctors and receiving various prescriptions. Robin was excited about her upcoming 50th birthday, which was in 3 weeks. However, later that day, things would become worse. On the day of the incident, Robin contacted the police to report her husband running around the house with a knife and suicidal intentions, and they arrived just as the call was dropped. Then Robin contacted the cops again, and at this point, they were being pursued and attacked with a knife. When one of the cops arrived, he waited outside the house for the second officer to show up before going to check on the issue rather than going in and stopping Michael. Their 8-year-old daughter watched helplessly, terrified for her own life, as Michael Jr. stabbed Robin over 100 times, removed her heart, brain, gut, and dismembered her body. A young child was screaming, "Daddy's stabbing Mommy," to the cops as they came. The girl was racing towards the front door. Michael had stabbed his wife and then himself. The pair was found covered in blood by the cops. Regretfully, Michael was admitted to the hospital in critical condition while Robin passed away from her injuries. Their daughter, 8 years old, escaped unharmed. After Michael came back, he was taken into custody and placed under bond, $340,000, at the Harris County Jail. Given that they have the resources, Michael Simpson Sr., Michael's father, has hired a Houston law firm, obtained power of attorney for his son, and is currently attempting to assist his son in getting bond.
A family is searching for answers after a mother's violent murder earlier this week. Investigators say her husband stabbed her to death. And now the victim's family is questioning the response time of the police. ABC 13's Alex Bozarjian has the latest.
The family wants to know how long it took police to show up after the victim called 911. We did go to HPD for those answers, but what I can tell you is an officer on scene told us that they didn't go into that home until the 8-year-old girl came out and said, "Daddy is stabbing Mommy." Not stabbed, but actively stabbing.
When I knew he couldn't stab me, Auntie, I ran.
A conversation Michelle Martin says she never thought she'd be having with an 8-year-old child she calls her adopted niece. The child's mother, Robin Simpson, is Martin's longtime best friend. On Wednesday, HPD responded to Robin's house around 4 a.m. She called 911, saying her husband was threatening her and their 8-year-old daughter with a knife.
He could have just left. He could have just left. And to think that that was the last thing that my friend saw. She was terrorized to death, literally.
Police say Robin died on scene from stab wounds. Her husband, Michael Simpson Jr., is now charged for her murder. He was also charged with aggravated assault for threatening their 8-year-old daughter. Simpson, according to police, also stabbed himself and survived. He's now out of the hospital and in jail. Martin wants to know what went down between the time Robin called police and when officers actually showed up.
They got there just in the nick of time to save him, right? He got saved. And I was, I can't help but think if they'd have got there 5 more minutes, 2 more minutes, I don't know, would she have been saved?
Martin says Robin told her Simpson began to spiral after losing his job over the summer, something he allegedly kept from Robin. Last weekend, Martin says Robin told her Simpson was having suicidal thoughts.
It wasn't anything that had gone on during the 12 years of the marriage.
There was no history of abuse, physical abuse?
No physical abuse, no.
Robin was just 49 years old and Simpson is 58 years old. Martin says Robin was a social worker, a dedicated mother, and her 50th birthday was coming up. Martin was planning to fly in from Philadelphia and bring a special tiara for her big day.
We're still going to give her a birthday party after her services. We're still going to celebrate her because I firmly believe that that's what she would want.
HPD tells us that we have to put in a request for those 911 calls, so we're still waiting on a response to that. But Martin says they plan to fly Robin back home to Philly to lay her to rest. In downtown Houston, I'm Alex Bozargian, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Michael's grandfather fails to acknowledge that his granddaughter was traumatized witnessing her father viciously murder her mother. According to Robin's sister, their 8-year-old daughter expresses daily her prayers that her father would never be released from prison because she is afraid of him coming for her. An internet petition was organized by the Robbins family to keep Simpson behind bars. The Robbins family is in favor of Michael Simpson getting death penalty. If you would like to stay updated with this type of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the following video.